Hey everybody, if you've tuned in recently, you know that I'm selling my Street Fighter statues at the end of this month, but before we do that, we're reviewing them all. Today we're taking a look at this flamboyant guy in a hockey mask with a claw. What a combination. But today it's PCS 1/4 scale Vega statue from Street Fighter 2. Woo! Yeah, that didn't sound like him at all. I was much more flamboyant. As the Extreme channel is pushing towards 50,000 subscribers, these are just a few of the statues we are giving away on the journey there. If you want to know how to win one, stay tuned for later in the video. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in as we look at this older piece from PCS. So this is Vega from Street Fighter 2. Now recently I've been doing a number of Street Fighter reviews. I recently did this Ken piece right here, and then a brand new Ryu statue, that's how I pronounce it, from Prime 1 Studios. You can check out those reviews, but today we're looking at Vega. Now, crazy story on this piece. I bought him aftermarket from none other than the Lord of DCX, Thor. Thank you so much, my man. I still have him for a little bit because he's going up for sale at the end of this month. Unless you're watching this from the future, he's probably jumped right out of here. Yeah, that was so bad. But anyway, Street Fighter 2 is a versus video game, and Vega was one of the main bosses that you could fight, or you could actually play as Vega in some of the versions of Street Fighter. And as I said, he was a really flamboyant guy. Now, he's wearing a hockey mask, not to be scary, and I wouldn't really call it a hockey mask, but he's wearing a mask, but he doesn't want to get his face damaged at all because he's kind of a pretty boy. And I know it's 2021, he's kind of a pretty person. Sorry about that. But he was a crazy character you'd have to fight that would jump all over the place. He would have a claw. He was arguably one of the fastest guys in the game, and he was one of my favorite characters to actually be other than Ken. And I got a screaming deal on him, because we'll talk about pricing a little bit during value, but in my opinion, he's a piece that still holds up, and he's one of the Street Fighter pieces I wish I could hold on to. But we're going to do an extreme review on him today, so let's kick it off with concept of this piece, and it's phenomenal. Now what's cool here is they have a cylindrical base like a lot of the other pieces, but they went all out. There's all this ornate design. You see a snake, which is kind of representative of the character, and that base moves up farther where he is jumping off a broken piece of it. And what I love is how dynamic this statue is, because like I said, he was arguably one of the most dynamic guys in the game. He would jump all over the place. He'd hang out on the cage in the background before he comes down with his claw and slices you in half. So they show him doing that signature move, jumping up in the air. His sash around his waist is flowing back. You see his braid flying back. He has great balance. He has his claw ready to strike. His ominous mask on his face. Just a scary, freaky guy ready to kill you. And I think they captured Vega fantastically in this concept. If I was going to make a Vega statue from Street Fighter, this is exactly what I would do. I think this is a 5 out of 5, and it looks fantastic paired off against other characters. Now we'll talk about design. So unlike the Ken statue we recently looked at, this guy does have a few different display options. Now, so we'll talk about that, but it's been so long since I unboxed and assembled him. I assume the base is one piece. He's probably another. Looks like his sash, portrait, and hands probably come off. And the reason why I know his portrait and hands come off is because that's some of the display options. So this is the exclusive. Now all the statues come with what you see here. So to me this is not an exclusive or bust. This is what you want to display. But the exclusive has an unmasked portrait where he's just really freaky. Again, that flamboyancy. He's licking his lips, and I think this is awesome. And then he's holding his mask with his right hand. Now, as much as I love that, I never have displayed it because this is Vega to me. He has to have the mask on. But I think that's a fantastic option to have because it really tells his character as well. Let's look at the dimensions of this guy. So the base without the snake is about 9-inch diameter. Snake gives it another 2 inches or so. The highest point is probably his tip of his claw, 23.5 inches. Then if you wanted to see like how deep it was, it's a lot deeper than you think. That's what she said. 14.5 inches or so. But he doesn't take up a lot of space, and because of the way it's posed, you can put him with other characters against them. So I think there's a lot of pros with this. Now there is a small seam line where his portrait detaches. Check it out. One would worry about leaning issues, but like I said, this guy's been out for probably 4 or 5 years, and I've never had an issue, so I think that he's holding up over the test of time. So I think the design's a 4 out of 5, a very strong 4 out of 5. They did a great job. Paint and sculpt, I don't like him as much as some of the other pieces. I think the base is the star of the show, but let me show you what I'm talking about. So starting at the base here, which again, I think this is the best Street Fighter base they have. I like how it's kind of this sandstone. And not only is it the sandstone color, but it has all this carving into it. So much intricate detail here. It's just amazing in my opinion. Top part broken off where he's jumping off of. Huge snake around it. Really well done. The base is a work of art for sure. Has a Spanish vibe to it with his mask on the front. Really impressed with that. Now the paint and sculpt on Vega is not as good. So first, you see a little bit of paint run over on his socks there. His shoes look fine, everything's fully sculpted. Part of it's the color choice I'm just not a huge fan of, even though it's accurate to the character. And you know, it's funny, I have these same pants and I wear them just like that when I go out. But very plain, very flat. And I don't like that. I don't think there always needs to be texture in clothing, but I think it would have helped on this. Reminds me of Pinocchio. His anatomy looks fine. I think they did a decent job on the anatomy, especially the pose he's at, kind of arching his back so his abdominal muscles really punch out. The tattoo on him sucks. That snake tattoo looks like a decal. That's horrible in my opinion. Big miss. I think the color they chose with his skin is great. His skin really reminds me of that Ken I recently reviewed. He has these golden armbands and bracelets. They look good. I think they add a pop to the statue. He has those long nails. It's kind of freaky. This is one of the reasons I always liked him. Now his claws, I believe they are, they're not metal, but they appear to be. So I think the paint job is done really nice on them to kind of give it that illusion. Here's his portrait. I think his mask looks decent. His eyes, these piercing green-blue eyes. Really nice job on that. His hair leaves a lot left to be desired, at least on top. Kind of looks just like a blob. Then the braid going down does look good. And again, the motion of it is fantastic. His back muscles look nice. So really, impressive job with this guy. Just a few things that just don't make sense to me. I think they missed the ball on a lot of it, but executed on a lot of it. Another hard one for me to give up. So we'll talk about the sculpt first. I think the sculpt is better than the paint. I'm hesitant, but I think it's a weak 4 out of 5 on the sculpt. I think they could have done a little bit of the stuff better we talked about. Paint, I'm going to give it a strong 3 out of 5. Again, some of the areas that I think could have been done better. It's just so weird because some areas, especially the base, are done so well. Some things on Vega are very good, but then some are like, what? Want to see that again? What? Now value. Unfortunately, I don't know the edition sizes. I know this one they made 475 of because it says on the bottom. That's exclusive with those switch outs we talked about. Retailed at $415. The regular version, I don't know how many they made. It was like $5 cheaper. Now, typically PCS statues, for the most part, this definitely includes Street Fighter, don't hold their value. I remember I paid less than retail when I bought it from Thor. And I don't know how much I'm going to sell it for. I haven't done the market research yet, but I'm guessing I'm not going to make any money on him. So that's something to keep in mind is PCS, especially in their Street Fighter statues, have a long history of not holding their value. Now, does he have the X Factor? This is probably my second or third favorite of the Street Fighter statues I own. And I don't think he has the X Factor, but because I have such an attachment to Vega, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 5, where I think normally this would just fall under a 3 out of 5. Like I said, some good stuff, and you kind of get what you pay for. It's still a very cool statue, and an absolute must-have if you collect video game or Street Fighter statues. Let me know what you guys think. Who is your favorite character to play when you played Street Fighter? Throw that down in the comments below, and the reason I asked you to comment is you could win a statue. We will be giving all of these statues away, plus additional ones at every 5,000 subscriber milestone. To win one of these statues, all you have to do is make sure you've liked this video, you've subscribed to the channel, you've hit that bell notification, and then just drop a comment below. Every 5,000 subscriber milestone, we are going to do a random drawing and pick a random comment and give one of these statues away, plus some additional ones I'm not showing right now. The more videos you comment on, the higher your chances are to win. Thanks so much, guys. Again, it's an older review, so I know you're really just supporting the channel and maybe checking out this cool statue. Hopefully you'll buy. If you want to know when it goes on sale, make sure to hit that picture of me to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification, and drop me a like on the way out. It really helps the channel. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.